Good evening, y'all. I'm Freddie Huth, and this is Sam Clemens with ClemsonJunkies.com. As most of y'all know, we started our podcast a few weeks ago, and um, keep in mind that tonight we're battling the weather and everything, so we're going to try to stay on as long as we can. If we do lose power, just realize that we wanted to bring you what we could. Tonight we're going to talk about a couple different things, but before we get started, I'd like to ask y'all to go to our YouTube channel, click the like button, subscribe to it. Let us know what you think about it. That we're trying to give you what we can, or the best we can, about different things going on at Clemson and stuff like that. So just keep us in mind, like us if you can. Also, before we get started, want to shout out to, or tell everybody, we're thinking about everybody across the state, Allendale and other places that have been affected by these storms that have come through. Also keep them in your thoughts and prayers as, the rest of these storms pass on through. It's been a rough day in different places. So, but anyway, let's get started. All right, Sam, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, except for the fact that 20 minutes before this podcast started, I had no electricity. So, and it feels like it's barely hanging on by a thread down here in the Low Country. But hey, we're going to keep going until God tells us to stop with the lightning. Okay.
That sounds good to me. Tonight we're going to start out with baseball. As most of y'all know, we dropped another ACC series this past weekend. Um, the rough thing about it was the way everything started out and the way it ended up. Sam, what were your thoughts about this weekend series?
Well, we could get into specifics, but with this being the third ACC series that we've dropped, I kind of think it's good to look at the overall package. I mean, sure, there are pitching errors or pitching issues. There's, like you said earlier, the hit players, the walks, and whatever. I mean, the bottom line is this team is struggling, but even throughout the pitching struggles, batting struggles. But the one thing that gets me or keeps me hopeful is that this team does not give up. You do not see them cower down and with their tail between their legs and run back into the dugout. This team believes in themselves, and that to me is probably the most important thing I can take away from what I've seen thus far with the baseball team.
And I have to agree with you on that. Now, I will tell y'all and give y'all an update. The game is going on right now, and it is in bottom of the third. We've got a runner on second with one out, and we're up 2-1. So on the number 14 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. So,
Wow,
hey,
that's good.
like you said, we're this isn't a team that just is going to fold, and that's the one good thing that I'm happy with. Now, I was concerned a little bit with Sunday's performance with all of the walks and the hit batters. Those will
Yeah.
kill you every time, and it did Sunday. It really did.
And I think Monty Lee's post press conference, both Friday and even Saturday night, were upbeat. I mean, he was, said, they were just a better team on Saturday night, but yet he was still able to, be proud of his boys. And then Sunday, he talked about, it's on us as coaches. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. He said, but the bottom line is pitchers got to pitch and hitters got to hit. And that's the moral of the story. I mean, the coach can't get out there like we talked before. Dabo can't get out there and throw a pass, and Monty Lee probably can't get out there and throw a pitch. So there's some responsibility that lies with the players. That said, I'm still proud of them for not giving up. That's important.
I agree. I have to agree with you on that one. It's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes. I mean, like Jason said over and over again, it's a long season. Now he did mention last week that this past weekend would be interesting. And we were hoping he would be able to be here tonight from Jason Priester from allclemson.com, but due to the nature of us having to push it off till tonight because of some technical difficulties last night. He's at the ball game. He's at the baseball game doing his full-time job. So, but I want to mention that, he mentioned last week that, he was going to be interested to see how this team handled this past weekend. And I would have loved to have heard, what his thoughts were on it, because to me, they didn't show any signs of giving up, like you said you were talking about a little while ago. And I'm thinking that he may would think the same thing, but I would love to know and pick his brain on that one. All right, so we're gonna move on from baseball into some more basketball news. A new week,
My favorite subject.
a new week, another player transferring out. As we know, news broke today that Alamir Dawes, the Tigers' second leading scorer this past season, plans to transfer out. He's already hit the transfer portal. Sam, give me your thoughts on that. You think it's going to hurt the
Well,
Tigers? You think it's going to help them? What?
well, just looking at the events of the last week with Nick Honor leaving, I think last week, and now Elamir Dawes is leaving. Jason reminds us, and you all who's listening, that Clemson cannot win in the ACC consistently with smaller guards. We've got to have a bigger guard, a point guard to run things. And a 6 foot or under point guard is not going to make it, and for obvious reasons. And I look at this is not being disparaging towards either Nick Honor or Elamir Dawes. It seemed like, particularly with Elamir Dawes, is he did not conform to a system. He would be impatient sometimes. I've even seen articles written about it. He would be impatient and he'd toss up that three without giving anybody any notice or any opportunity. It's like, boom, run down the floor and him take a three. That's what he felt like he had to do. I respect that. But the bottom line is Clemson probably needs, I'm not saying I wish they weren't leaving. I mean, I'm glad they're leaving if that's what they want. But I think Clemson can find, appropriate people in the transfer portal. The transfer portal taketh, and hopefully the transfer portal will give us back.
Well, in my way of looking at it look, I'm all about, I loved Alamir Dawes. I loved his spunk. I loved his, he just seemed to have that, that chip on his shoulder that, I'm not going to stand down because I'm shorter than you are and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, like I've agreed with Jason on it. You're gonna have to have bigger guards in the ACC to compete. We've all agreed to that or agreed on that. And the one thing that keeps sticking in my mind is that last game in the ACC tournament when when he's guarding a guy that seemed to be towering over him as he shoots the shot that wins the game.
I remember it. I remember shaking my head for sure. I'm still shaking my head over that.
Yeah.
One.
And so, now I'm like you. I'm anxious to see if they do hit the transfer portal really hard. I'm kind of swaying towards they are going to, and to see what you can get from there. One thing that somebody brought up the other day or pointed out the other day that I thought was really good, the transfer portal seems to work a lot better for basketball teams, college basketball teams, than it does for like football and stuff like that. And I can see that to an extent. So I'm hoping, like you said, the transfer portal taketh, and hopefully the transfer portal will sendeth it our way too. So
exactly. There was a question asked on an interview I saw today. I can't remember who it was, but anyway, they talked about Brad Brownell can't catch a break. Is he ever going to be able to win? With this leaving, I've been outspoken since the beginning that, not being critical, but I don't know that we're ever going to be able to win consistently with Brad Brownell. Now, that said, I don't know who Clemson would get to replace him, but this sort of situation causes me to take a step back and say, he's working the best he can. He could not have controlled these young men staying or leaving. It's out of his control. So I guess we have to be patient. We have to hope that he can go out and build a team around PJ Hall and Nick Honor and a few not Nick Honor, Hunter Tyson, and make this team work with whatever he can find.
Yeah, I agree. All right. We're going to jump from there to everybody's favorite sport around here, usually football, and not so great news. this past week, we all know that Adam Randall tore his ACL at practice, and so just seems like that injury bug just doesn't want to leave quite yet. I was looking forward to seeing what he could do on the field as a true freshman. I'm sure you know that's going to be put. Well, let me change that. I don't want to say it that way. I'm sure he would have added to this team
Yeah.
tremendously this year. What I'm hoping for is that he can get what he needs done as far as whatever surgery, whatever treatments, and can rehab it and come back as strong as ever. I guess my question for you though, Sam, is you know how do you think it's going to really affect this team now? We both know we've all been told, he was doing great. He was, making great strides, showing a lot of potential, talent through the roof. Okay. But at the same time, he is a true freshman. Do you think it's going to affect the wide receiver core all
Well,
that
he's
much or?
so far, it was him being a mid-year enrollee and a freshman. We've never really seen him, although he's been really highly touted and talked about. And I think Dabo pointed out, you might figure Hunter Renfro would be would be, but Randall, you automatically assume he's an NFL man. He looks like that today. So obviously his loss is going to affect the team. But having never had him before, you go back to what you do have. And looking over the roster, I see we've got Joseph Ngata, who can be unbelievable if he can stay healthy. Then we have Balin Spector, no, Brandon Spector, who is coming out after a long illness, COVID-related illness. He's back and he's doing well. He's going to be that slot receiver from what I'm reading. The other one we have, or two we have, is the Dakari twin, the Collins Towers, Dakari,
Yeah.
and what's the other one? Bo. They are fantastic. Now we're waiting on EJ Williams. Hopefully he'll be back in the fall. And we're Troy Stellato. He's a freshman and he's been hurt. So there's still questions to be answered. But to answer your direct question, do I think it will affect or how will it affect? I believe we need numbers in that position, and any number anyone we're down is going to be an issue and it can hurt because we need that rotation, that constant rotation. So hopefully he'll do what Amari Rogers did and heal up quick but I think it'll be a little bit unrealistic for us to expect him to come back next season. He's a young guy. He hasn't learned the playbook. He hasn't, he's been exposed to it, but he hadn't gotten it down like Amari had when he got hurt after 2 years of experience. So hopefully
He'd been in the system for a while.
Yeah. I'm just, again, I think the wide receiver core is one of the ones because of the struggles last year or perceived struggles with dropping balls, running the wrong the patterns, that kind of stuff. I think there were a lot of questions going into spring practice, and I do believe that Coach Grisham is aware that there are problems, and I think he knows that, and he's going through and he's doing what he has to do. Now, I don't have any intimate knowledge of that. I don't go see them, but all reports are he's really turned the corner, and these guys are playing at their best. So let's hope that's going to be the case.
All right, next we're gonna talk a little bit more football. And it's a feel good story to me. And I know you and I both have written on Clemson Life, visiting the practice last Wednesday. I really enjoyed your article, and I know you told me earlier that you enjoyed mine. And I guess the questions that I have for you is from your article. Tell me what you take away from this program.
Well, first of all, as far as the Clemson Life program goes, my family has been the beneficiary of that wonderful program. I have a second cousin's daughter who was Down syndrome, and she applied. She's extremely, extremely mainstreamed, if you will, and she applied and got accepted. That was 5, 6 years ago, and her little world is expanded. It is a fantastic program for all the right reasons. And one of the things that I wrote about in my little article, and I think you may have mentioned it in yours, is the pride that I feel as an alumnus looking at that and saying, that's my university. They're doing things different, and they're doing things exceptional, and they're doing things right. So from that standpoint, I'm really pleased. But to watch those, I think I put in there that these players will play against larger audiences, but they will never play to a more appreciative audience than the Clemson Lifers. They just get me every time. And when they went, this is the first time in 3 years they were able to go to Death Valley, and it was all done in the last couple of years, done in the indoor practice facility, which was fine. But seeing them there, and seeing Cade, I won't steal all the thunder. I want you to talk about it, but seeing Cade out there interacting, all the guys interacting with the kids, it's just what life's all about. It's what makes college football special.
And you said that about Cade, and I'm gonna tell you, that's the next thing that I picked up on. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm all about the Clemson Life program. I love it. I'm very proud that Clemson University has opened that door, and that Dabo himself has embraced it. To say, and to watch that video, I can't tell you how many times I have watched that video of Cade and the guy throwing that football into that net. And I mean, the whole key here is, I think you even wrote you that wrote an article about Cade Klubnik's another Clemson man that needs no introduction. And that in itself, that's him. I mean, this kid has come in, true freshman, and it's wonderful and great that you can come onto the football field and you can throw touchdown passes and you can win football games for this program. I'm all happy about that. I'm great. That everybody wants to win. We all do. I mean, anybody that says we don't or they don't, trust me, they're fooling you.
They're lying. They're lying.
That's right. That's right. All right, but here's my thing. This kid who has never started a football game in college comes out here, gives this football to this guy, and the look on his face, he was almost as excited about this young guy getting wristbands and a towel. Okay. I mean, wasn't like he won $1 million. All right. I mean, it was something simple. And I mean, he's jumping around and hugging this guy like he's known him forever.
They're having a ball.
Yeah, and I mean, that is what this program to me has always been about. Not just the Clemson Life program, but the Clemson football program as a whole itself. And so, we see the photos and the videos of Dabo and those going out and helping with building houses. Okay. We see all that. We see all the grand, stuff that they do on the football field. But the thing we haven't been able to see as much of is just what you just talked about a few minutes ago. These young people that'll never get the opportunity to do this stuff coming out there, and our football players embracing them as though they are their brothers, their sisters, their cousins, their friends. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what the college experience should be all about. It's not just about how many trophies you got.
Yeah. In a world where these young people have been told, have been insinuated, have been led to believe that they're different, they're not normal. To be able to come into a college experience and go on the field and play with literally a world-class college football team is unbelievable. Talk about winning the lottery. That young man, I don't know his name, but number 16 in the purple jersey, he was fantastic. And the one thing, and I stopped the tape, I stopped the video to just look at Cade's face. That was priceless. And that tells me what he did and what the others are doing is not fluff. It is real. It was the drop mic moment of the whole thing. It made my whole day just to see that video.
Mine too. Like I said, I can't tell you how many times. Now, keep in mind, I know I wrote the article about that video and stuff. But even without it, even before I wrote it, I had already watched the video over and over again because like I said, and I've got family members myself that have dealt with those same types of symptoms and stuff like that. So we're all touched. All of our families are.
Sure.
And that's what I'm getting at. I mean, I would love for some of my family members to be able to experience that, and I'm thankful that they are doing that. That it shows that they're human, and that's the whole key there.
Well, I
Um,
mean, Dabo's All In Foundation, he and Kathleen's foundation, they support mightily breast cancer, and they also, like you say, work with and support Habitat for Humanity. But one of their other ones that they really pay keen attention to and philanthropically give money, but their time is to that Clemson Life program. So
that's
it's
right.
with a point of pride. It's with a prideful way. Dabo loves having them there. You can see the
Yep.
whole situation
Exactly.
is great.
Well, y'all, we've come to the end of another great show. We hope y'all enjoyed it as much as Sam and I have. Uh, you know, it's always fun getting to talk Clemson sports, and it always will be for me. And I know it is for you too, Sam. Um,
It is.
Remember, y'all, if you get a chance, go to our YouTube page, subscribe to it, like us, let us know, that you like what we're doing. Also give us some comments. Let us know, if you got some questions, send them to us. We'll try to get them answered for you.
And
Um,
and if anybody's
Go
got
ahead.
anything they'd like us to discuss, or any
Yeah,
suggestions, or any constructive criticism to make the process better, I mean, we're open to that. I mean,
yeah.
it's this is something we both love to do, and we love having Jason Priester from allclemson.com as our guest often. He is probably as knowledgeable as Dabo is about recruiting and other things. So when he's here, we have a full round table. But tonight, I think you handled it nicely.
Well, and like I said, we enjoy doing it. Also, if you get a chance, go to ClemsonJunkies.com and check out some of our articles. We're steadily putting stuff out there for y'all, and we hope y'all enjoy it, man. Eh, Well, Sam, it's been good.
Good good
For
night,
the rest of
folks.
y'all, until the next time, remember, go Tigers.
Amen.